Welcome back to the Full English, British English served straight. Today's one for all levels, and it might save you from some genuinely embarrassing situations. Because today, we're talking about the words that mean completely different things depending on which side of the Atlantic you're on. You've been learning English, but which English? Because depending on whether you're watching American TV, using American textbooks, or learning from British teachers, the word you just confidently used could be raising eyebrows, or worse, causing real confusion. This happens more often than people realise, and in some cases, the differences are funny. In others, they're important to get right. Let's go through the ones that matter most. Biscuit. In Britain, a biscuit is a small, sweet, delicious baked treat that you have with a cup of tea. A digestive, a hobnob, a bourbon cream, a rich tea, or a custard cream. You dunk them and you argue about which one is best. In America, a biscuit is a soft, flaky, savoury bread roll, similar to a scone, or scone, depending on which part of the UK you're from. But that's one for another video. An American biscuit is typically served warm with butter, gravy, or as part of a breakfast sandwich. If you ask for a biscuit at a British tea shop and an American diner, you will receive two completely different things. Both delicious, neither interchangeable. And just to make it more interesting, what Americans call a biscuit, British people would probably just call a bread roll or scone. What British people call a biscuit, Americans call a cookie. Chips versus crisps. This one causes genuine confusion at restaurants. In Britain, chips are the thick-cut, hot, fried potato pieces you eat with fish. What Americans call fries. British crisps are thin, cold, crunchy, bagged snacks. What Americans call chips. So if someone in Britain offers you chips, you're getting hot food. If they offer you crisps, you're getting a packet. And yes, if you go to a fish and chip shop in Britain and ask for fries, you'll get the right thing, but you'll also get a strange look. Say chips. Fish and chips. Pants. This one matters. In Britain, pants means underwear. In America, pants means trousers. If a British person tells you your pants are showing, they are telling you something very different from what an American would mean by the same sentence. If you're in Britain and you want to refer to the long clothing item you're wearing on your legs, the word is trousers, not pants. This is not a mistake you want to make twice. A few related ones. British people say boxer shorts or pants for underwear, and trousers for legwear. Smart trousers means formal trousers, and if a British person says something is pants, as in that film was pants, they mean it was rubbish, bad. The word has two meanings and both meanings coexist. Welcome to British English. Boot and bonnet. In Britain, the boot is the storage space at the back of a car, what Americans call the trunk. The bonnet is the hinged cover over the engine at the front, what Americans call the hood. Could you put that in the boot? Means put it in the back of the car. The mechanic had the bonnet up, means they were looking at the engine. If you're using American English and ask where the hood is, you might get a baffled look. A few more car-related ones whilst we're here. The British say windscreen, while Americans say windshield. British people fill up with petrol, Americans use gas. And in Britain you drive on a motorway, not a freeway or a highway, though both are understood. Jumper. In Britain, a jumper is a knitted top that you pull over your head, what Americans call a sweater. In America, a jumper is a sleeveless dress worn over a top, what British people would call a pinafore dress. If a British person recommends you bring a jumper for cold weather, they mean a warm knitted top. Pack accordingly. In Britain, you might also hear fleece for a zip-up fleece jacket, Mac or Macintosh for a waterproof coat, and anorak for a hooded zip-up, though anorak is also a slang term for someone who is obsessively into a niche hobby, so context matters here. Queue. In Britain, a queue is an orderly line of people waiting for something. A shop, a bus, a ticket desk, a post office, the self-checkout at the supermarket. In America, people mostly say line for this, wait in line, or I'm in line. The British take queuing seriously. It is not optional. It is not negotiable. Cutting in a queue is not just rude, it is a genuine social transgression that will earn you silence, pointed looks, and possibly a very polite but extremely firm correction. Excuse me, I think there's a queue. This sentence has ended friendships. Knowing the word and knowing to join the back of it without being told will serve you very well in the UK. Pavement versus sidewalk. In Britain, the pavement is the paved area beside the road where the pedestrians walk. In America, the same thing is called the sidewalk. In America, pavement refers to any paved road surface, as in the road itself. So if a British person tells you to stay on the pavement, they're telling you to stay safe on the pedestrian path. If you use pavement in the same way in America, they'll think you want to walk in traffic. Also, in Britain, the road itself is the road. A dual carriageway is what Americans would call a divided highway. These details start to matter when you're giving or following directions. Flat versus apartment. In Britain, people live in flats. In America, they live in apartments. Same thing, a self-contained home inside a larger building. If you search for somewhere to rent in London and type apartment, you'll find results, but the listings themselves will say flat. The estate agent, in British, or realtor, in American, will say flat. The ground floor flat is the one at street level. Holiday versus vacation. In Britain, a holiday is a trip away, what Americans call a vacation. We're going on a holiday to Spain is completely normal British English. In America, holiday almost always refers to a public or religious celebration. Christmas, Thanksgiving, the 4th of July, these are all holidays. The day off work is a holiday. The week in Tenerife is a vacation. In Britain, the public days off are called bank holidays. If a British person says, I'm on holiday, they mean they're away on a trip, not that it's a national celebration. Rubbish versus trash. In Britain, rubbish is the stuff you throw away. Americans say trash or garbage. The bin in your kitchen is the rubbish bin. You put it out for the bin men to collect. In America, that's the trash can, and it goes out for the garbage collectors or sanitation workers. Rubbish, in British English, also functions as an adjective. That was rubbish means it was bad, poor quality, or not worth your time. You can also use it as a general dismissal. Rubbish. The way Americans might say nonsense or that's garbage. Right, quick pause. Which of these has already caused you confusion? Drop it in the comments. I'd genuinely love to know. Now, why does this matter beyond avoiding embarrassment? Because the English you've been exposed to shapes the English you produce. Most online content, most films, most streaming, most video games, they lean towards American. That means most learners absorb American vocabulary by default and then find themselves in Britain sounding slightly off without knowing why. The content is fine, the vocabulary is right, it just doesn't match the context. Knowing both sets of words and knowing which country you're in gives you flexibility that most learners don't have. You can code switch, you can meet your audience, And you'll never accidentally tell a British colleague about your pants situation. The short version: chips in Britain are hot, crisps are cold, pants are underwear, trousers are trousers. The boot goes in the back, the bonnet at the front. You live in a flat and you go on holiday. And whatever you do, don't cut the queue. And that's your lot for today. Another bite of the full English, done and dusted. If that was useful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss your next helping. We'll see you in the next one.